excited that you are here with us. Aaron, always good to see you.
Man, it has been a good couple days. Had a lot of cool stuff going on that I'm excited about. So it's not that great to see you, but besides everything else is awesome. I'm kidding. I love you, brother.
Yeah, I love you too. The general public should know, though, before we even get into the introductions, I think it was hilarious what you said a little while ago. We were pondering ideas of podcasts we should have, and I threw out the idea of a blind taste test. I bring in some things for you to try, and then we have someone who loves me actually bring in food for me to try, because I would not want you to do that for me. And you made a funny remark that I think is hilarious.
Yeah, it was that would never happen.
This was really a good idea.
I trust you with my life and my finances. I do not trust you to feed me any sort of food, because it would be, I said, especially if I don't get a reciprocate, like I would be having Durango or order that andouillette sausage straight from France.
I can't do it.
And it's just like, here's the thing. This actually goes along well with what we're going to talk about, is like competitive natures.
Sure.
And like, I'm going to try to outdo you. And then we end up both just eating a bunch of really nasty shit, which I'm not cool with. So I think we're going to scrap that idea.
I think so, too. I think that's a great idea to not use my great idea. Well, hey, thanks again so much for tuning in. We are so glad you're here. Make sure that you like and subscribe. And we are going to talk today about competitive natures, the importance of it, the need for it, the obstacles with it as well. As a high-function sales team, any business that has a high-function sales team, a competitive nature is important. And we know that that's one of our core values here, making sure that we've got a competitive winning spirit. Mm-hmm. And so let's jam on that for a little bit here today.
All right.
So first things first, and this has nothing to do with competition or anything along those lines, but of the two of us, who can, I was going to make up something funny, like who can bench more, but we already know the answer to that question, so I don't even want to bring it up. It is Aaron. It's Aaron for 2 more weeks. I'm just saying I've been hitting it pretty hard. But no, for you, what do you think? What do you like about a competitive nature in someone? Let's start there.
In someone or myself?
Sure. Let's start with yourself.
It drives me to succeed. Everything that I've always done. Okay, so we know that I worked for my family's business for 16 years. I was in sales there, and they had sales competitions, and I wanted to win. I don't give a crap what the prize was. I just wanted to win. I want to win at everything. And it could be like $25 gift card to Chick-fil-A. And I would sell so much. It'd make $8,000 for the week because I wanted to win a Chick-fil-A.
$25 Chick-fil-A card.
So that competitive drive made me so much money because I always wanted to win. So I think it's in a healthy way. I think it's very important if you're in a sales position or a sales job, because that's what drives you. Healthy competition is extremely paramount in a sales position.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. And we'll probably need to split this off into 2 conversations that we'll have here today, because I think that there's a competitive side of things, and then there's a motivational side of things. And you can be competitive but unable to motivate yourself to be competitive, and it's not going to help you succeed. And so we'll need to tap into that as well. But like you, I'm pretty competitive in a lot of ways. I hate to lose. I hate to lose. I learned a while ago that if I'll try anything once, for the most part.
Not to make this a competition, but I hate to lose more.
Exactly. We do joke about that a lot. We also hate to lose to each other, probably more than anything. And I do love when we do play games and stuff like that. There's definitely, I think it's healthy competition.
I do.
But we hate to lose to each other.
Yeah, we dig it in a little hard. I knew that we were going to be talking about this. So I brought something with me.
Oh, my gosh. All right, good. Yeah, come clean to the public.
I shouldn't have told you this last week. I should have saved it for the podcast. But we had a group event, right? And I don't know if I Yeah, I think I've told you the entire story, but we had a group company
Real
event.
quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
And real quick though,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I want to say when we hate to lose each other, I mean, like, I've noticed the looks on people's faces when you and I compete at something, and we both know that like in 5 minutes we're going to be good, right?
Yeah.
But if I lose to you at something, you lose to me at something, we kind of need 5 minutes of separation.
I think-
because, am I right?
Yeah, I think Durango, I'm going to see if I can find it. I got a picture. I beat him like 5 games in a row at pool, and like he collapsed onto the floor and was laying there. It looked like a chalk outline guy. So I think I got that picture. I'll see if I can find it. But no, we went to the entire company, or the sales team at least.
It was a sales contest. Speaking of competition, it was a sales contest, right?
It was a sales contest. I think OC or ABC or both sponsored it, and we went to these really quick indoor racing go-karts. And there was 3 races, something you do first, I think just a practice run.
Just to get used to the cart.
Yeah, there's a practice run, and then there's like a pole position, and then there's the championship race, and there's technically 6 because there were so many people that in the pole positions, they had to split up the fastest 6 and then the slowest 6 so that there was 2 championship brackets.
Correct.
Right? Well,
Group A and Group B.
yeah. So we're in there, and Adam Schock, the ABC rep, I think he's been there before, so he knew some secrets, some tricks and trades, right? Is that where you learned these tricks and trades I'm about to talk about?
It is.
Okay.
He taught me.
So we do the first race. I don't know what these guys have done. He can maybe expand on this, but we do the first race. And sorry, I have this new huge mustache. I was growing out my beard, and then every Christmas, I shave it down to a stupid mustache for embarrassment reasons for my kids because I don't like it. And now I have this giant mustache that I need to shave
I
off.
thought you were going to get it trimmed at the barbershop today.
Yeah, I didn't think about it. So anyway, back to my story. I go to the first round, and I think I got like 4th out of everybody in our circuit, 3rd or 4th.
We were going fast and trying, but I do feel like that everyone was really trying to figure out the carts and everything. And
Yeah. Amazingly, Adam Schock got first place, I do believe, in that first one.
I am just now putting this together. You are right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shocker.
Shocker. So the second round, I hear Adam and Adam Schock over there talk about some stuff, and I'm like listening in. Come to find out, there's a tip bucket. It's a tip bucket. It's called the bribe bucket.
I think tip is right.
Bribe. It said bribe. So it was called the bribe bucket, and I had found out that they were dropping 20s in there for these guys to give them the fastest car, crank a little juice up on them, or however it works.
So you can, and these tips, these were not bribes. These were tips.
Yeah.
For the young men that were working hard to service our group and ensure that we had an enjoyable time. And how these tips work is, yeah, you could.
You're undermining your own excuse right now.
I wish my car went. Well, I just want to make sure that everyone really understands how this works.
Okay.
You could, oh man, here's a tip. By the way, I wish my cart went faster. Or, hey, here's a tip. By the way, make sure his cart goes the slowest. Like, you can do different things and say different things as you're giving these tips, just so you know. So it's not just about making your cart the fastest.
Right. So I hear them, and I'm like, well, I'm not going to, get thrown under the bus here, but I'm following their lead for clarification, right? So I go over there and I drop a 20 in the bucket with them. So they got 3 20s from us. And we go through and we do the second round. And lo and behold, and I will tell you, like, I hit every corner right. I was braking at the right times. I was doing things. Like, I was driving really good. We still, I think, got first, second, and third place.
Did.
I think without that, in a clear, everybody on the same level playing field, I still would have got first, second, or third place. Yeah. Like, we were banging them out.
Yeah, we really were.
So anyway,
there was some guys in our group that have never driven. Evidently, there were some guys that had weight distribution issues. So
anyway, we go through. We get first, second, and third place. So we're in pole position, first, second, and third. I believe I was in first on this one.
Are we talking number one or
this is on number 2.
Race 2. Okay, yeah.
Number 2. So I was in first or second. So I'm going over there, and I hate losing. And you know why I hate losing?
You were so mad that whole day. Back to my original point. I shouldn't say the whole day, but like you wouldn't talk to me.
Well, here's the problem. If Adam loses, he gets real quiet and a little. Maybe falls down on the floor, like I said. Like, hopefully I can find that picture. If he wins, he's the loudest dude on the planet, and he pulls up his phone and plays DJ Khaled. All I do is win while he runs around yelling in your face.
I have it saved on my phone.
So who in the world would enjoy losing to you? Nobody.
It's all for fun and
Nobody.
games.
For you. So anyway, that's what I got to deal with. If I lose in go-karts, then that's what I got to deal with. So we play we run the third race, which
we have some footage of this that we can put on here.
Yeah, which is the championship race. And Adam comes up to me and he was like, "Are you bribing them?" And I was like, "Huh?" He's like, "Did you give them another 20?" And I said, "I swear to you, I did not give them another 20.
This is also pause.
Yeah.
Where I have learned so much about making sure to be articulate in communication, about making sure to identify all rules, regulations, and so on because of your mentality.
Yeah.
Go on, please.
So he goes, "All right." I said, "You promise you're not giving them a 20?" I said, "No, I promise. Let's go race."
Because I was gonna tip 40.
Right.
Not bribe, tip.
And so we go and race. You know, I hadn't given them $20 on this round. We went through. We raced. I won first place. You won second, or Shock?
No,
Shock won second.
Shock
you
won
got
second.
third, bronze.
Yep, I did.
And so I got my award,
His
right.
first place trophy.
my first place trophy. So I got that in my office so he can look at it every time he comes in to talk to me and know that I'm a better driver
Bigger
than
spender.
him. Better driver than him.
Oh.
And so this was maybe 6 months ago. Well, I've been sitting here laughing at him every time for 6 months. Every time I walk, this is what you don't know. Every time I walk into your office and I see your bronze statue,
Because you know.
I giggle to myself.
You know.
You didn't know.
No, because you
So-
know what would happen. We're going back.
As a Christmas gift, I decided.
Was that the Christmas present?
As a Christmas gift, I decided to come clean to Adam. I was not going to listen to DJ Khaled. Absolutely not.
You were so grumpy.
Yeah,
that day. You
I was
wouldn't
bad.
talk to me.
Well, until it was over, and then after, let's be fair. After I won, you were grumpy.
You were all smiles.
You
and
wouldn't
giggles.
even talk.
Well, when you know you should win because you're the best driver, and then some guy.
I've been driving since I was 6 months old.
Ugh.
So anyway, back to the story, guys. Sorry, get off track here. So I recorded a video and I sent it to him, telling him the truth about that day. And what happened is that we had lunch in between the second and the third round. And we were back here eating lunch in this little area, and I ran up and there was two young gentlemen working. And I said, "Look," I said, "here's $70. It's all the cash I got left on me." I said, "Take this, make sure I win no matter what, and put the bribe bucket under the desk so it's gone now." I mean, tip. So put the bribe bucket under the desk. It's gone now. Cool. And they do it all. So they've made probably a couple of $100 between everybody at this point. They got a $70 one on top. It's the final race. They come out. We go.
It's not that funny.
We go.
This is pathetic, actually.
We start racing, and I'm starting out in first or second place, and I'm killing it. But there's wrecks all the time.
Oh, the people behind us were crashing into
so
each
the people
other.
behind it, when they stop everything when there's wrecks, and everybody's all, and maybe somebody zooms by you for a second because their cart, maybe you were on a turn and they had a little more momentum or something. I don't know how it happened. But every time they cranked the cars back on, mine went on about 1 second before the other people. So
Dude,
I'd be like,
it was like 3 seconds.
I was like, you don't even know. I just told you this like 3 days ago.
I remember
vividly. All of a sudden you remember. So I would shoot up right past them and then we'd be going again. And we did this. And I won first place
for a 12-minute race.
And I was dying laughing. Inside, I didn't say anything. I did talk a little. I may have played DJ Khaled. All I do is win. And then we went out and there's a trophy ceremony and I got to stand on the top one. I got to use Adam as an armrest because he was down here on the third place podium. And this whole time he thought it was a fair race because I said, no, I did not tip them $20 because I did. Yeah. I tipped him $70.
So we're going back. We are going to have the same level opportunity. I'm going to hire a freaking IRL official to come and watch over this race, and we are going to see who's faster. But I want Shock to be there, too, because he thinks he's something fast, but I don't think he is.
No, he was the first tipper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people remember that.
Yeah, he was the first tipper, and he also has been there before, which neither one of us had.
Yeah. He walks in, he's got like a secret handshake with those guys and stuff.
Yeah, dude, ridiculous. He pulled out a bag with his own gloves in it.
Yeah.
So anyway, but yeah, that's speaking of competitive natures. Here's another story just on my competitive nature. We went out to a Pacer game suite with some of the winners from our sales contest. And one of the guys was having a couple drinks. He may have got a little loosey-goosey. And I was like, hey, man, we got to be at work at, 8 a.m. Chill out. And he's like, I'll be at work before you're at work. And I was like, you want to bet on that?
Yeah, you gave him an opportunity.
Yeah, I did. I said, listen, I'll do anything to win a bet. Are you sure you want to do this? He's like, $100. I said, okay. All right, Joe, shake on it. Next day. I get up at 4 a.m. I shower. I get ready. I come in. I get here around 5 o'clock. 5:30 actually, I think is what it was, something like that. And at the time, our ops manager got in around the same time. I about gave her a heart attack because it was dark. She didn't flip the lights on. She just started working. Mm-hmm. And then I come walking through and like she jumped out of her chair. She's like, what the hell are you doing here at 5:30? I was like, Joe said he'd beat me here. And so like we normally get in around 8 o'clock, 8:30. So I went in and grabbed the closest clock and I took a picture of the empty sales den in the dark office and I sent it out to the group chat and just let him know that he owed me $100.
Then you went back home and went to bed, I think, didn't you?
No, I stayed here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've learned to not make frivolous bets with you. I will not bet you that you won't do or try something. Yeah. That is 100%. Now, if there's some skill or talent or something involved, you and I like to wager a little.
But yeah, I'll do anything almost anything to win a bet. I will not drink curdled milk. That's disgusting. Ooh. But other than that,
so this competitive nature, how do you think that transcribes into how we operate today?
Oh man, I think it's a big part of it. Ever since the beginning, everybody always was like, "Hey, when did you decide to grow and do these things?" And like it was never really even a question. I was just like, hey, I want to do this. I want to get better. I want to be bigger. I want to do things nicer. I want to have, for instance, the catch-alls and the equipters and the things that we use to make our job sites look nicer. And, all of this stuff, it wasn't even a question for me. I just wanted to do it. I wanted to have the best and the best of everything and be the best at everything. And it's just, it was never a decision. It was just something that by nature decided to go through and do. And I think it comes over really well. And if you can get guys that have that same competitive nature, or girls that have that same competitive nature, I think it'll do really well for any sales organization because people want to be those type of people will do whatever it takes. Like if I have to stay up, calling people or doing whatever until midnight, I'll do it, whatever I got to do to win that $50 gift card or whatever it is. Obviously we do stuff that's better than the $50 gift cards, but whatever it is just to win. It's not about the prize itself. It's just about the desire to win and be at first place. And I think that's always going to shine through in people that have that nature in their businesses or sales or whatever it is.
Yeah, and I think, the important aspect of that is, number one, it's making sure that, go back to the hiring side of things and the importance of hiring and firing based on culture. And, for us, that competitive nature is something that's important to us. Couple that with good incentive and reward programs, can really help set the team on fire. And that's something that, the go-kart trip that we took was an example of that as some incentive trip. Couldn't think of the word there for a second.
Yeah.
But we do once a month, we've got something running.
Yeah, some sort of contest, or that we do some cool quarterly stuff. I don't even know if we've announced it yet, but we got another Pacer Suite.
Yep.
For in April or something, I believe. But yeah, I mean, so on your side, how has, because I know you're competitive in nature too, how has that kind of worked with you doing, because you weren't just in sales either, you were in a lot of leadership and a lot of different positions. So how's that worked in those different positions that aren't sales?
Yeah, so I am competitive against others, but for some reason I'm more competitive against myself. Meaning I always want to try to outdo myself, because this is kind of just like self-recognition that because of my competitive nature, I actually can get in a bad mood if I lose at things. And so I've got to be careful with that. I can think of times.
I can't think of any times that you were upset about losing.
Exactly. But playing cornhole in the neighborhood or whatever, like just taking it way too serious,
right.
And yelling at my neighbors for cheating and stuff like that.
Suplexing your kids in the side yard.
Yeah, exactly. So I realized, like, okay, I got to chill out on that, but I've got a competitive nature. And what I also don't want to do is, I don't want to compare myself unrealistically to somebody else. And that's, in competition, that's something that you've got to be careful of. So I've kind of looked at things like, how do I compete against myself? So, one thing that you and I both enjoy is going to the gym.
Yeah.
And we work out from time to time together, not all the time, but, I don't try to compete with you on, hey, who can lift more, who can go longer or whatever.
Yeah.
That's not what it is for me.
Yeah,
because, our frames are different, and it's just, that's not important to me. Now, pushing myself and beating my best and those sorts of things, and that's where I get into that difference of making sure that you can motivate, not just have a competitive nature, but motivate yourself to accomplishment, I think is incredibly key as well.
I think I agree with that, because it's the same way. Like when we go to the gym, but it's two totally different things. And I mean, we're there a lot at the same time and don't even do anything together, say hi or high five when we walk by. But, for me, it's the same thing. It's myself. Like I use a lot of machines because I do work out by myself. So it's like, can I get one more pin down?
Yeah.
Can I do one more here today? Can I do one more rep? Can I do one more set? And so that, I guess that helps on that end. Cause like when I did the 75 hard deal, like it was a competition against myself,
right,
where I was like, I wanted to do better and better and better and make sure I'm working hard and doing everything to the complete extreme. So,
I also think, just from a leadership perspective, if you can get others to see the value of competing with others, yes, but also, and more so, competing with themselves, the better off you'll be. Because what happens is, and we see this in some of the incentives that we do, where if it's on sales volume or upgrades for the month or whatever the case is, typically a quarter of the way into the contest, people already make it up in their mind on whether or not I can win or lose this contest.
Right.
And, well, so-and-so, he's always been the best at selling upgrades, so I can't beat him. So now I don't try to compete. And that's dangerous.
Yeah.
Because that leaves you completely out of competition. Now, you might not win against all your peers in that category, but how are you motivating yourself to go beyond and to push? And you know what? Maybe so-and-so is the best at selling upgrades and they've always sold more than everyone else. But if you used to only sell 5 upgrades a month, can you do 6 this month? Can you do 7 this month? And just beat that personal best and that personal record. And I think taking time to think of things that way just kind of helps that competitive nature versus, if I'm playing one-on-one versus Michael Jordan or something like that, like, no, I'm not going to win that competition, and it's going to feel demoralizing. But how can I have some victory even in that sort of competition? That makes sense.
I don't think I'd be demoralized if Jordan dunked all over me.
I don't either. Yeah.
No, all that makes sense. I'm just joking. But so what do you think the pitfalls to having somebody or yourself even having that competitive nature?
I think it's some of what I was kind of just alluding to there. So for me, I've got to be careful in where I compete, because I know that I can get frustrated at things.
Yeah.
And so, if I know that I'm going to lose at something, it's not that, and I'm sure we're going to get all kinds of comments and stuff, and that's cool. Keep the comments coming. I don't necessarily believe in giving up, but at a certain point in time too, you've got to recognize, like, where do you need to compete? And so if I always lose at pool against you and I don't play pool quite as much as we used to, right? Because I don't want to lose. You know what I mean?
You know what this conversation's reminded me of? And I know it's kind of like outside about the movie, but in one of the Meet the Parents, when he gets into the volleyball competition in the water, and they're like so happy that they're beating him, and finally he decides to be competitive. Spikes it, breaks the bride's nose. Yeah. It's just a game, fucker. Calm down. That's it. I don't know why that popped into my head, but when you were talking about like when to be competitive, I was like, oh my gosh, that's what that reminds me of. So yeah, I mean, there's times to be. I think. The same exact levels you like, hey, sometimes maybe you need to chill out, but I think more often than not, it is a positive thing. So if you're hiring a sales team, or let's go employees in general, like, would you want somebody with a competitive nature over somebody that's just kind of...
I think you have to have that competitive nature. And again, where are they placing the competition? Because I've also worked with people that they're super competitive and they win and they're just jerks. And you don't really want them on the team, even though they're producing well. It's like, hey, I appreciate you winning, but how you're winning is not fun to be around. And I think, trust me, those are hard decisions to have. Yeah. But I think that those kinds of decisions are also things that are super key and important.
No, I agree. And it's a good sales rep can't outdo a cancerous sales rep, like from the same side. Like, right. Like it doesn't matter how good you are. If you're cancerous to the rest of the organization, you're not outselling the rest of the organization, or probably not, depending on how large the organization is. It's just not worth it.
Yeah.
And I've seen that a lot over the years too.
Agree completely. So yeah, I think you got to watch out for that. I think another pitfall is from an individual perspective is you got to be careful to protect your self-confidence, because you're also not going to win at everything all the time.
Yeah.
And so, we joke about getting frustrated and mad about losing and everything, but at the same time, like, how are you protecting your confidence? Especially when, let's say you're in a sales role and you've missed your goals 1 month, 2 months, maybe 3 months in a row. How do you protect that confidence to be able to pick yourself back up and go again? Like, you've got to make sure that you've got that level, go back to motivation.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you're just going to fizzle. You're going to feel depressed. You're going to feel like a loser. And
then that's a downward cycle. You start getting in your head, and then you're like, what am I doing wrong? But it's typically just the aura that you're putting off. You know that you're in a funk, even though you're saying the same thing. So, smile, get through it. But like, they're going to know if you're putting that out there. So. Yeah.
There was a guy I used to talk to, when talking about this, I think, like, you got to fake it till you make it kind of thing.
Yeah.
And there was a guy that I used to listen to, loved him to death, passed away here the last couple of years. His name is Ed Foreman. Only person ever elected to Congress in 2 different states. Was the founder of the Successful Life program, which was something that I was heavily involved in and learning a lot under his mentorship. And he would always talk about, sometimes you just got to fake it till you make it. And sometimes people, come on, that's not being authentic. That's not being real, or whatever, kind of challenge it from that point in time. And he was a Southern guy from Oklahoma in Texas. And he'd be like, I'd 10 to 1 rather be around somebody that's faking being happy than a sincere sorehead any day of the week. And, just in that Southern accent. But I think that it's true. Like, sometimes, you got to find a way to motivate and push yourself past that frustration.
I like that saying, by the way. And I actually like when you say it too in the accent. So that's cool. No, I completely agree with you, man. And that is one of the things that being in sales, pretty much my entire adult life, I've had to do from time to time. Everybody deals with it, especially when you have a competitive nature and you have off month, and then you feel like that. You feel like you got to get this. I got to get this. I got to get this, because that competitive nature is kicking in. You can tend to push yourself, down that hole a little harder than you normally would. But I think if you recognize that it's there, and you realize that, the biggest thing is smile. Smile, talk, make conversations, connect on a personal level, and I've always been able to work through it.
Yeah. Again, I think that's hugely important, and again, something that Ed would say. He was a fun guy to listen to and to talk, and he had some great ideas and philosophies. And again, very, very important to just control your physical self, because that can go into your inner self. And if you're smiling physically, it begins to get hard to be down or depressed or frustrated.
Yeah.
And he would always kind of joking, like, all right, next time, he'd be talking to like a room full of 1,000 people. He was like the original Tony Robbins back in the day. This guy's phenomenal. And he'd be like, all right, now the next time that you get depressed, what I want you to do is I want you to sit down in your chair. I'm gonna try to do this with this headphone and everything in. But I want you to sit there for just a second and think about it, put a smile on your face, and jump up and say, I'm depressed! And he'd laugh like this. And just a hilarious guy. I hope there's people that have heard of Ed Foreman and put some things in the comment here. But it's true, though. Like, when you take control of your physical self and your physical demeanor, like, that can begin to shift. Because, again, go back to what we talk about a lot. Whatever you focus on, you get a lot more of. And so if you focus on being confident, if you focus on winning and being happy, it'll find you. It'll find you.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's kind of leading down a different subject. But it's amazing how powerful the brain is when you get into stuff like that, whatever you're thinking about. When I've made major life changes, that scared me to death. And then one night I just decided, hey, I can do this. It's the right move. I woke up happier than I'd ever been the next day.
Yep.
And it's just literally the power of the brain, where you're putting your energy into. And then all of a sudden it starts to become the reality that you're living in. So,
yeah, 100%. So when it comes to the competitive side of things and the motivation side of things, where do you, cut that part out, Durango. For those of you listening and not watching, you're scratching the table, by the way. He's shuffling this bought trophy.
We'll get it re-lacquered. All I did was tip the guy.
Yeah.
I just gave him a tip. You heard it, right? I just tipped the guy.
This is dumb.
Just the tip. All right.
Yeah, write that down. 3320. So there we have it. There we have it. The importance of competition. One of the other things that Aaron and I enjoy doing, again, we love to compete. We love to compete with one another. We hate to lose to one another.
I don't really lose, so it's not a big deal for me.
That guy loses all the time. Anyways, you just gotta pick what you're playing. But something that Aaron and I have done is, and this actually started off by a fluke. Durango, I'll send you some pictures for this story. Earlier this year.
I don't know where you're going with this yet, so I'm curious. Okay.
It's going to be a good one.
Okay.
Earlier this year, when all we had was a couple of games, and we had the battle putt course, which we used to play on the regular. But I won so much, Aaron refuses to play.
We've talked about this. People already know you didn't really win that much. Go ahead.
Whatever. Anyways, there was a time that we actually played doubles. Me and you, Adam Schock again. Thank you, Adam Schock. I don't even remember who was on my team. I don't know that it's important either.
It might have been like Mark or somebody. I don't really know.
Was that Paul?
Yeah, I think it might have been Paul. Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. But we were playing. It does matter, but we were playing, going back and forth, and we happened to bet we bet on 2 games. It was hilarious because you and Adam Schock, who is a great golfer, by the way.
Amazing golfer. It's like his job to golf in a sense.
Yeah.
Because
it's not like, it is.
It's basically, yeah. So Adam Schock is our sales rep for all of our shingles and stuff that we buy from the manufacturing house. And so he puts some orders in and he does a little bit of real work. But really his job is to take his clients around golfing and doing go-karts and laser tags and stuff. And so he does this with a bunch of people, and then he's really good at it all. So he's not one of those sales reps that's like, oh, yeah, good job, you almost won, or you won.
He doesn't let you win.
He's there to eat your soul. Yeah, so he fits along with us well. He's very competitive as well. He's not letting anybody win. So he's crushing, these drives and chipping it on right next to the hole. And anyway, sorry, go ahead.
So that's him. But we were playing battle putt, and we decided to bet on the game.
This is the only time I've ever lost. Go ahead.
Okay. All I had was like $23 in my pocket. Somehow the bet worked out where whatever, we bet on the game and we won. It was great. It was fantastic. Then we played a couple more games. We didn't bet. You guys won. Yeah. And we didn't win before that either. Yeah. Then we bet on another game. So literally we probably played 10 games, but we only bet on 2. And both the games that we won were the ones that we bet on. Yeah. My partner and I. It just so happened that you and I, of course, were the only ones that were exchanging the dollars. Yeah. And you had a nice $100 bill. And for those who don't know, Aaron's great grandfather, it's actually 9 times.
I think it's 6.
Is it 6?
6 or 7. It's
not 7. We know that.
It's 6. Maybe.
Okay. So somewhere along the lines, Aaron's great grandfather is Benjamin Franklin, who is on the $100 bill. And so I won this $100 bill. It just so happened that I was on a trip in golfing somewhere, and I was like, oh, I still have that $100 bill on me. It has like a unique pink marker on it. So I started taking pictures of golfing with what I affectionately referred to as GG7. So now
GG7, great grandpa 7. So I'm randomly getting photos from this dude with him laying up against a putter, him doing all these different things on the golf course while he's golfing.
I still have him. We'll put him in. But so now we bet that same. We got it encased and everything, and we bet that same.
I want it back. Now I have it, and now we have another bet that we've already betted on in February. So we're gonna find out if I retain GG7, the official GG7. He's encased now. Adam bought him a nice case, and or Adam wins it back.
This is going to be fun. We're not even going to tell you what we're betting on yet, and you guys are going to have to wait and see. But it's big, but it's. I would say it's one of the top things that anyone could do in a bet.
We'll find out.
So that's our story, and we're sticking to it.
All right, we're shutting this one down short. I could sit here for another 2 hours and tell you stories about me destroying Adam and stuff, but I'm sure you guys probably don't want to hear about that. If you do, just shoot me a message, and I'll record some videos.
We've also made the executive decision that anytime Aaron and I play against each other, effective immediately, we will be recording.
That'll never happen because we are competing all the time, so we'll never get everything recorded, but.
This has been a fun conversation, though. And again, it goes back to back to the root. We want everyone to have takeaways whenever we have discussions, even when it's on the fun side of things. But having a competitive nature is a good thing, and it's an important thing.
I agree too. Just manage it appropriately.
Managing it appropriately is key. Hey, make sure that you like and subscribe. Thank you so much for coming back week after week and podcast after podcast. We're having a lot of fun doing this. Put in the comments what you'd like to hear us talk about. Or, hey, I'll tell you what, put in the comments what you would like to see Aaron and I competing each other against. And we'll see if we can make that happen, too.
Yeah, I'm down for that. Or anybody that you'd like to come on and cover. I think we got some cool guests. We wanted to do the first few ourselves. And just kind of get some stuff out there, but we got a lot of people some that have reached out to us, and some that we're really close with. But we got some people that offer a lot of really good insight in specific fields coming up. that are going to be guests on the show. But if there's anybody in particular that you think would be cool to come on to talk about stuff that would be educational for the viewers, that also can joke around and have a good time, we like to obviously have fun on here. So
it's kind of the point.
Yeah, exactly. Put it in the comments too, and we'll look at that.
Yeah, awesome. Till we meet again, thank you so much. And remember, if at first you don't succeed, give up, try something else. No, I'm just